Hey everyone, this is Stephen Young. Welcome you back. This is our inaugural session called Friday Whiteboards. Friday Whiteboards is going to be something that we bring to you every single week. It's going to be a lesson that I'm going to show to you and explain to you on this whiteboard. So this week is our first session that we've ever done, and I really want to go off with a bang. And what we want to do is talk about our V8 money chart. It's what we're known for in this business, so much so we've actually trademarked it. So what we do is, and you can do this at home, it's quite a simple exercise. But this is the first thing we do with all of our clients. Before we get into goals and before we get into anything else, we start with the V8 money chart. So the V8 money chart is quite simply this. So what you want to do is you want to track your revenue and your expenses. So your revenue is on the top and your expenses on the bottom. The vertical money, which is the V of the V8 money chart, represents the amount of the revenue or the amount of the expense. And the H represents the horizontal money or the source of that revenue or expense. So quite simply, when you study the different classes out there, the poor class, this is really what they look like. They have one small source of revenue, and then they have these sources of expenses that basically everybody has, but they're baseline expenses. So it's like rent, grocery bills, cable bill maybe, phone bill, sometimes taxes, but they're very low, and they don't have a lot of them. The problem with the poor class is they get stuck. Right? So there's not enough revenue coming in to generate, basically there's enough just to pay the expenses, but that's pretty much all there is. When you get into the middle class, it looks very much the same. The difference is they have a higher single source of income. They have the same baseline expenses, but what they have that makes them different is, other than the higher revenue, is they have more expenses. But they have like credit card bills. They have, car payments, second car payments, maybe a cottage mortgage, maybe a boat for the cottage. There's all these like tools and tricks that they have. This is the biggest problem of our economy right now. The middle class have this false perception of what we call wealth, or perceived wealth, where they have all this stuff that being paid for the single source of income, but what's happening at the end of the year, there's still nothing left over for them to get out of this middle class slump that they're in. And to me, that's the biggest problem of our economy right now. When it comes to the wealthy, the biggest differentiator is they have all these fun little tools and tricks and toys and all that stuff as well. The main difference is really what we focus on here is they have multiple sources of income. Now, when we first sit down with our clients, we look at initially how we can improve their single source of income if we can. If we can't, that's not a problem. We'll show them how to get into these different pillars, or what we call silos of wealth creation. So if this is your income or job, we show you first how to get into the real asset class, real estate. We get into mortgage financing. We get into JV partnerships. We get into products. We get into creation of other businesses. And by the end of the year, what's happening is your single source of revenue that's paying for all your expenses pays for all your expenses. And all these other assets build wealth over time. And what we find is that when we first initially introduce this to our clients, they love it. They're over the moon about it. The problem is there's these big gaps when it comes to middle transition into wealthy. And what we want to do is, the main thing we focus on is creating something called the baseline of wealth. BOW. The baseline of wealth is going to create you a steady flow of income month after month after month. And you're going to generate that income from day one, from the time you start with us to the time you grow to your goal. And that's our message this week for Friday Whiteboard. I hope that helps you out. If you want information about us, or you want to sit down and go over your V8 money chart, please give us a call or office.